I'm Paula Downey, and I'd like to tell you about CultureWork, a different way of working with people, culture, and change. A more human way to access the potential in the people who make your organisation what it is. It's a way of working that respects the principles of nature and living systems. That's why we describe it as working the way life works. When you look at your organisation, what do you see? A controllable machine or a complex living system? What you see matters because it changes what you do and how you work. Most of us have been educated to see the world through a mechanistic lens, and by now this attitude is baked into almost everything, including how we approach the human side of organisational life. That never felt right to me. I couldn't explain why, but it was a compelling, all-consuming feeling that I just couldn't shake. Then I discovered the principles of living systems and the idea of incorporating nature's rules into my work, and it absolutely changed my life. It can change your life too. And having worked this way for 20 years or more, I firmly believe that working the way nature works can change everything for the better. Human beings are hardwired for relationship, for collaboration and participation. That's when we feel most alive. We're also wired for growth and for change. But here's the thing, we cannot be changed because living systems are self-organizing. That means they make themselves and they change themselves. We can all spot manipulation a mile away. And when we do, we disengage, we hold back. And of course, the first casualty is trust, the most important ingredient in any human relationship. Treating people like machines leaves so much human experience and goodwill on the table. It prevents people from showing up whole and giving all they've got. And treating organizations like machines leaves so much potential on the table because we never quite access the capacity of the system as a whole. But when you start to work with the principles of nature as your touchstone and your guide, everything begins to change because it asks you to rethink the way you do everything. CultureWork is a repertoire of processes and practices inspired by nature's rules and designed to support cultural innovation. It's not a program, another thing to do. It's a different way of doing what you already have to do. To change the culture, to change the system, you have to disrupt business as usual, to disturb the routines that keep things the same. By changing the way people meet and work together, we turn systems thinking into systems practice. Disturbing these patterns is the secret to transforming culture. By doing the work in a more participative and collaborative way, you develop the organization, the people, and the relationships at the same time. In other words, you develop the culture. You change how things work around here. Everything needed for change to happen is already available to the system. We just need to tap into it and nurture it. It's a bit like gardening, nourishing the soil to help things grow. We call it culture work, working the way life works. People absolutely love this way of working because it engages them as human beings and treats them like they matter. Change happens when the people who create the system discover what needs to change and figure out how to change it. And all the evidence shows that working together in a well-designed process, they will create better outcomes than any elite core. When you're working the way life works, the leadership role is not to lead change, but to create the conditions in which change becomes possible. Everywhere, people are crying out for joined-up thinking. But Joined up thinking requires joined up practice. This is the meta shift of our time, thinking like an ecosystem by working as an ecosystem. This is the work of the future and the new work of leadership. With nature as our teacher, we can choose to become the generation that invents a new kind of system leadership, a whole new way of working together, inspired by life itself. If working the way life works inspires you, you can download a free chapter of my forthcoming book on this website. Thanks for your time.